So hello everyone, and thank you for coming again today. My name is Bella Combest, and these are my colleagues.
I'm Fiona.
I'm Turner Wyatt.
I'm Eagles.
And we are here to talk to you again about our SOUL project, or our Service Organizing Leading project in the Invest Community Leadership Program. And we are the Forward Food Group. We are working in collaboration with a local nonprofit called BoulderFoodRescue to plan and organize a conference this coming spring for people who are interested in or working with food issues. However, before we dive into that, I would like to set up this presentation by giving a little bit of context as to the issue that we're trying to address. In Invest, we have learned a lot of really important lessons about what it takes to have a successful change movement, what it goes into being a good leader, and something that that we have learned to be really crucial in a change movement is that you can't go it alone. And through our experience, through all of our travels and all of our classes and talking to community leaders, it's clear that it's never can be attributed to one simple organization or one individual for the success or failure of a particular movement, but rather the whole working in collaboration or not towards a common goal. So what we hope to do is kind of recombine these things. And what we have found in our research that often the problem really does exist is not that there's a lack of effort going towards changing a particular issue. There's often a ton of different communities, organizations and people within a community who are all working towards a common goal. But the problem lies in is that there is division. They fail to collaborate or communicate with one another, and they thus weaken the overall movement. So the way I like to think about this is kind of an analogy of a chain. Together, the chain is made up of a lot of different links, and together it can pull a really heavy load. Unfortunately, divided, it becomes an ineffective pile of scrap metal. So this is the fundamental issue that we as a group exist to address, and we really sincerely hope that we'll be able to reconnect these previously severed chains and fortify a movement around food.
And in light of that virtue of collaboration, I will read our mission statements. The Forward Food Summit exists to address issues surrounding food justice by creating a platform for the collaboration of organizations and people fighting unjust food systems. Our work is guided by the principles of inclusivity, compassionate action, and justice. And so now let's talk about the ways that we plan on doing that. I did my first year internship at BoulderFoodRescue as well, and as these two said, what that organization does is picks up food that would otherwise go to waste from food vendors like grocery stores and delivers it by bicycle to organizations that feed food insecure people. And we define that as people who are hungry, who are homeless, or are at risk of those two things. And what I've noticed is that this organization is really good at addressing food insecurity. There's food waste. Great. We'll take it to people who need it. Seems simple enough. But what we don't address are the fundamental underlying issues that cause the injustices of food insecurity and food waste to exist. On the other hand, there are other organizations that very well address food injustices, but they do little to provide for the urgent, direct need that food insecure people have. And so, what we plan on doing this semester, next semester, with the Forward Food Summit is by putting on a 1.5-day conference, a summit in which people that are already involved in organizations that are either addressing food justice or food insecurity, or the general public to come and gain some knowledge on the issues. And the way that we hope to facilitate that is by creating a new discourse for food activists, people who are interested in food issues. And that's called forward food thinking. And instead of just addressing injustice or just addressing insecurity, it is a simultaneous effort. It is a collaborative effort, as we said before. And so we hope to bring the right people together in order to allow them to share best practices and ideas, and we will explain how exactly we're going to do that.
Yeah. So the Forward Food Summit that we're hosting is going to be a 1.5-day summit in Boulder. The location is still to be decided, and it's going to be in the month of April. We want to bring together Food Rescue Colorado chapters and Colorado Springs, Denver, Boulder, and possibly Jackson Hole, Wyoming, and also other food justice organizations, and anybody who's interested in this idea of forward food thinking, to come together and share ideas, knowledge, and skills, and collaborate with each other and learn from each other. By doing this, we want to have roundtable discussions, and we have some really great conversation, learning from each other and coming up with solutions to challenges that we face. How-to workshops where we can learn new skills, maybe about biking or cooking. Field trip opportunities to maybe a local food co-op or urban garden. And also have keynote speakers, and finally to celebrate this collaboration and idea sharing with a gathering probably centered around food.
So regarding our goals of the summit, the first and foremost goal is to facilitate the collaboration amongst food justice and food security activists. So it must be learned about the intersectionality of oppression. So how different oppressions interact and make those effects more potent. So we want to use that intersectionality to our advantage. So to analyze how we can share resources and collaborate more so that we can empower ourselves. Just as oppressed groups, in order to enact lasting social change, they must collaborate and work towards collective liberation. So we are doing the same with the Food Summit through activating both food justice advocates and food security activists. Our second goal is to provide tools and education for the empowerment of these individuals. So we want to provide lasting, palpable change. So we want our attendees to walk away with a toolbox of tools that they can readily apply to integrate activism more so in their organizations and combine the two. And our third is to assist in creating a vision and action plan for the development of food justice in Colorado. So as Boulder Food Rescue expands and becomes Food Rescue Colorado, we need to establish constant communication amongst the chapters of Boulder Food Rescue, as well as network with other justice organizations to better address the root causes of these injustices. So we are going to, an example of this is creating an online platform for all these organizations and chapters to share online resources and collaborate about the vision. Our fourth and last goal is to strengthen the lines of communication within the organization. And additionally, we really want to focus on social justice. So we'll be analyzing how privilege and oppression work within our organization, as well as how we can become better allies working for food justice while simultaneously working to address food insecurity.
So we also have some objectives because this project only lasts until the spring. It's important to have a set of objectives to align with our goals, to measure how well we are achieving our goals. It includes planning, fundraising, and hosting this summit, and also creating an online platform, like Nina said, for communication prior to and after the summit, for organizations to continue communication, and also to conduct a follow-up and get feedback from people who came so that this can happen maybe next year and it can be even better. Finally, we think that it's really important that everybody has a say in what is going to happen at this conference, so we're really open to hearing what you would like to get out of this conference, whether it be skills or if you have ideas for people to speak or ideas for venues where it can be held. We are really open about that. And so we have an email that you can email us at soul@BoulderFoodRescue.org. And we have an email list that we're going to pass around if you are interested. And we can send you email updates whenever we have more information. And also on the BoulderFoodRescue.org website, we have, if you click projects, and then there's a tab that says Forward Food Summit, and it gives you more information about the summit.
So as Fee was saying, it's really important to us that the community have ownership of this project just as much as we do, since we want it to be an ongoing thing. We don't want it to just be ours. So again, you can contact us at these individual different resources, but it's so important to us that we have this involvement, we have the support, because as we said, we can't go it alone, and no lasting, true, holistic change can occur by just a few individuals. It has to be a group of people all working towards something. So we really hope that you can come and help support us in any way or capacity that you feel comfortable. So if you want to come and get in contact with us, even after if you have specific questions, then we're more than happy. But thanks again so much for listening, and we look forward to our summit. Yeah, okay, just make sure. Now we're opening up the floor to any questions anyone might have. Yes, Gina.
So earlier you mentioned keynote speakers. Are there any ideas of who y'all may want to bring for the summit to speak?
We've talked about a few different people, but we're, like Belle said, we're totally open to hearing from any of you. So far the people that we've talked about are directors of organizations and people who are directly involved in the frontline stuff. But if you have that weird uncle who knows everything about food, please tell me to contact us.
If there's anything you'd like to know about forward food thinking, anything we can try to find people.
Yes.
On like the list of organizations you said you're inviting, I saw there were like a few other food rescues in other cities, and I didn't remember quite what the others were, but it seemed like everyone on that list sort of has a similar mission right now. I was wondering if you guys thought about inviting any other organizations that may be going about it in a completely different way.
Absolutely, absolutely. So a big part of us, a part of our goals or objectives is to connect the Colorado Food Rescues that is expanding into this bigger thing. So inviting those different chapters is really important. A lot of them are younger than others and could really benefit from talking to the mothership that is Boulder Food Rescue. But really important that the whole thing that we were talking about with combining with food justice organizations is getting people who have nothing to do with food security or redistributing food, but people like the Second Kitchen who is involved in the food co-op, people like Grow House, which is in Denver, which is about growing food and sharing it with the community. So people coming from every different angle is what we're hoping for to create a really holistic event.
Additionally, we were trying to reanalyze how social justice works. So we're also inviting organizations, a lot of food security organizations work with the mind of charity, like working for someone rather than with. So we're also trying to get a diversity of groups so that we can all really learn and gather information from each other and perspectives.
Are you thinking about inviting people who utilize these resources that you guys are trying to put together, like Boulder Food Rescue, people who benefit from them?
You mean like recipients?
Yeah.
Of Boulder Food Rescue? Absolutely.
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 An organization you might want to think about is Harvest of Hope, which is a recipient for Boulder Food Rescue, and then also going up the chain, Whole Foods, and people like that who are the donors. I mean, it's very important in the whole food security side is to understand the whole food chain, if you will. About Boulder Food Rescue is the distribution arm. It's the people up here and the people down here from the recipients. So that's very important.
Absolutely. And with our roundtable discussion, we've been really hoping to get people on both sides of that to be able to talk about the different sides of what causes food insecurity, how is Boulder Food Rescue or other food rescue organizations participating in perhaps a broken system. So trying to open up that question is really wide, and having those people would be really useful.
When we were brainstorming who we wanted to invite to the event, my ideal audience would be to have the Harvest of Hope director and the manager of the new Walmart Neighborhood Foods Market at the same table, just to have complete opposite ends of the spectrum represented at the summit, because that's when we're going to get the most diverse and most interesting movies.
Yes, sir.
Well, it costs money to attend the summit.
This particular part is still in the works. It looks like it's going to cost us something. Exactly how much depends on how big this ends up being, which is still a matter of research that goes into who's planning on attending or able to attend, where the venue particularly will end up. But overall, it was likely that it will cost some to get those, whether it be from like $5 to $40.
Depending depending on the feedback we receive as well, it could be a fundraiser for future events and become an annual event for Boulder Food Rescue and networking purposes.
Thank you so much.